Episode 13, Our Psychic Readings. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to Journey Through the Dreamscape with me, Angelina Young. Thank you so much for being here, listening, tuning in this week to another fun episode. So, how are all of you doing? All of you listeners, how's your weeks been? I feel like these past few days have been so strange. Like, the energy and stuff that's been coming up, my dreams too, have just been crazy. Also, today I'm filming this intro on June 3rd. This morning was the planetary alignment. I wasn't able to see it from where I live, but yeah, I don't know. I can't help but think that has like something to do with these strange dreams that have been happening. I feel like collectively there's been a overwhelming mix of energies, and I've just been here trying to not absorb those energies so much. You feel me? Do you get me? I feel like I am in my hermit era, which is so brilliant and amazing. And I feel like when I say this to some people, they take it like, oh, you are just in your shell or hidden away. But I see it kind of like, well, what is the hermit? Hermit has wisdom. They are away from the crowd. They are on their own path. They're holding the lantern, lighting the way. Their light, their creativity, inspiration, and truths. And I feel like they're also kind of a guide, but they also have to have a lot of inner reflection to get to that point. You know? I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I feel like we're all of that, right? We're all these different kinds of archetypes. But definitely I feel that one resonates with me currently. And I kind of love it. I'm kind of vibing with it. But yeah, I'm just curious how many of you have been picking up on this like weird feeling. I don't know, collectively, or just I wouldn't say craziness. It's like there's just a lot going on, you know? But yeah, if you are feeling that, do some meditation, stay grounded, take some time for yourself, get some rest. That would probably be my best advice. But yeah, I've been doing good. I am actually quite excited. I feel like I'm always excited whenever I film these episodes. But I am pretty excited because I have been using my time to pre-create, have a cute little theme and thing going on for Journey Through the Dreamscape's Instagram. And I am quite excited. Actually, right when this episode is out, the new post will be up. And yeah, I'm gonna keep up with that more. So that's exciting. I hope you follow along. I'll be posting things about the podcast, how you can sign up, like what the podcast is about, a bit about me, advice, tips, things about dreaming, all kinds of things, intuition, spirituality. So that is very exciting. I hope you're excited. And okay, so I do want to bring up a book this week. And it's very silly. It kind of fits in with the topic of today. And this book has kind of been following me around before I got it, before I started reading it. I had seen this book at a whole bunch of stores. I think I mentioned this in another episode, but I'm going to just recap really quick. I was seeing this book in a whole bunch of stores, like The Strand, Barnes & Noble. I was seeing it everywhere, but I didn't get it because I had a list of books to get at the time. And then I realized I never forgot the cover. That's the thing. It like stuck in my mind. And I've been listening to a podcast called Psychic Teachers by Deb Bowen and Samantha Faye. And I've been listening to their podcast because it's so interesting. They talk about just Psychic 101, like dreams. They talk about a mix of stuff that I'm interested in and I wanted to learn more about. And then it hit me. I don't know how. I was just like, I had like glasses on. I guess I just wasn't seeing it or I wasn't hearing it. And Samantha Faye mentioned her book, The Awake Dreamer. I was like, no way. Why does it sound familiar? It was the book that was following me around, which is so silly. And I don't believe in coincidences. And then I had went out with David. We went to this little cute shop, and sure enough, right on the shelf, staring right out at me, and was the one that caught my eye, was that book. So I got it. I had to get it that day. And I just think that's crazy. And let me tell you, I love this book so much. I am so happy that I got it. So basically, it says a guide to lucid dreaming, astral travel, and mastering the dreamscape. Like, you're going to hear about lucid dreaming, you're going to hear about astral travel, you're going to hear a little bit about the Akashic records. There's a lot of her personal stories of how she has gone through the dreamscape, things with spirits and ghosts and souls, and other people that she's encountered in life sharing their stories as well. And I just think all of it is so fascinating. And I'm finding myself, while reading this, relating to so much of it and being like, that's crazy. Like, I haven't heard anybody say this. And yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. But I do want to say, like, it's not really like, this is how you can do these things. It's more of the experiences and like knowing like, hey, this is like out there, this is available, and like other people have experienced it too. There are a little bit of tips and tricks that she feels can help with remembering dreams, with having dreams. But it's basically like this whole jumble pile of like experiences and a bit of like, here's some things that you could try. And I just love it. I think it's so amazing. It's such a good book. I love the cover. It's so surreal, so dreamy. Definitely check out their podcast. I'm a fan. And I just think this is so silly that this book has been showing up so much. Definitely a good one to add to your collection if you're interested in dreams and psychic abilities and phenomenon. So going into the topic of today, this is so exciting. We have our first reoccurring guest, Sarah Joseph, joining us. And me and her are actually going to share with you guys some stories of our experiences going to psychics. And not just one or two, but 3 psychics. And they were all so different. And boy, is it like a wild ride. I hope you guys are prepared because, yeah, we are just a jumble of mess and chaos and laughs. So try to follow along, try to feel these feelings that we felt when we were going to these psychics. And also we talk a little bit about Lunar Faire because guess who went to Lunar Faire? It was us. It was me, Sarah, and David. And boy, was it a blast. I want to go back. I can't wait. But yeah, this is a fun episode. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you want to hear about all of the silly psychic experiences. And yeah, if you are excited and ready, join us after the break. Okay, future Angelina, guys. So I just need to say, this went on for so long because of all the experiences and just like going back and like reflecting on these things. This episode had to be cut into 2 parts. So yeah, I hope you're ready for the ride. Here we go.
Here we are again. And you know who we have on today?
A repeat customer.
We have Sarah on again. Reoccurring guest first.
Back by popular demand.
We have some stories to share with you guys today. So we actually just went to a fair together. Sarah, do you want to say what fair we went to?
Yeah, we went to the Lunar Faire, and how I've been describing it to people who I was telling about. It's like very similar to a Ren fair, but forget the Ren, just the fair. It's all of the market and vendors that usually go to the Ren Fair at this Lunar Faire. Super fun.
Yeah, I've never been to a run fair. I've seen it. It's like elves, fairies, all of that. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Keep the magic, drop all the other stuff.
Keep the magic, drop the knights.
Yeah, pretty much. Drop the Knights Medieval, all of that
Exactly.
shebang. But I do actually want to go to one of those. I would love to go to one of those with you, Sarah.
You would love it.
Yeah, it would be so great. So yeah, we went to that. I was so excited. You have no idea how much I was looking forward to going to this. It was Sarah, me, and my boyfriend David. And boy, that was a trip. It was a longer distance than we had planned for it to be.
Yep.
We had to take a couple stops to Wawa.
There were multiple Wawa stops. Yes.
Yes. And that's also because you did the stop and then David just wanted.
Well, David had never gone to Wawa before, so obviously I needed to introduce him to the cult favorite, and he instantly fell in love and then was like, can we go a second time? So obviously I had to give the people what they wanted, and we went to Wawa a second time.
And basically, for you guys who don't know what Wawa was, because I did not know what Wawa was, I am from the West Coast. Wawa is, well, actually, Sarah, do you want to take it away and just say what Wawa is?
Sure. So Wawa is a gas station, but to the next level. Think of it as like Panera meets 7-Eleven meets Buc-ee's meets generic gas station. Everything you could want and more. You can get sandwiches. You could get bomb mac and cheese. They do pizzas now. They got bowls, lots of snacks, drinks. That's pretty good.
It was pretty good, and it powered us through the fair. The fair. There were tons of psychics, tons and tons of psychics, tarot readers. There was aura readers, aura drawers. There was fire show and tap dancing psychic. We kind of missed all of that because we were looking at literally every single booth.
I know. We had a mission and we wanted to see all of the art vendors and get through every single thing. And we thought we could do it all. And we did all the vendors, but then there were no time to actually see the acts.
Yeah, we actually went through, we had one row left. We were like, okay, let's go sit for a sec. We'll go back to that after. Yeah, no, by the time we actually finished, like looking at the actual booths, it was time to go pretty much. And Sarah actually found a bracelet, which I am still thinking about to this day because it looked so good. And we went back to go find it because we had you guys told me to go look around first before I buy stuff, and I
You're being responsible.
I liked this one shirt that was there. It was like a little poncho shirt thing going on with like moons and suns and stuff. So cute. There was only 2, and we said we'd come back. By the time we came back at the end, it was gone. So I guess, yeah, sure, it wasn't meant to be. But I said so. I thought,
okay,
I'm
give
still
the people a little bit of context. That was the 3rd booth. We had gone in every booth, and you were buying something in every single booth.
I was not buying at every single booth. I was looking at, okay, guys, I saved to spend at this fair, and I was not buying at every booth.
Definitely thinking about it heavily.
I was thinking about it. I didn't. And I still was thinking about that shirt.
And I was just casually reminding Angelina that there was like 60 vendors more. I don't know. There was so many vendors. And I was like, let's just keep looking because there's going to be a lot of the same stuff and a lot of things that you're going to want to get. And let's just like get a list in our brain going and we can do a couple laps. Have to go to another one. It's okay.
We are definitely going to go to another one. Lunar Faire. You know what? My goal, I want to vend at one of these because this would be perfect. It would be absolutely perfect. I don't know how to get my stuff there. Maybe Sarah, you can help me on that day. We'd plan it out.
Yeah, maybe you can ask nicely and I'll help you out and we'll make it work.
We'll split the profit.
I would like 51% of whatever you make at the fair for lending you my car.
51. Okay, we're gonna talk.
No, just kidding.
We're gonna talk about this. But yeah, Lunar Faire here. This was like your little shout out to and Wawa.
But Lunar Faire.
Bringing this up because we're kind of heading into the topic of the day. Okay, so Sarah has been through this journey with me with going to psychics. Isn't that crazy? This has been our third psychic that we've gone to. All of them have been different. And the first one, we have to start there. The first one we ever went to. Okay, I was going through one of the worst years of my entire life. And Sarah was there for me during that. And we were going out. We were in Morristown, New Jersey. And we went to an arcade. We had a great day. We went to a little restaurant thing with music. And I was thinking this. Okay, wait. By the way, guys, I said this in the first episode with Sarah. Her intuition, scary and crazy. I don't know if I mentioned this part, but when I first met her, she walked up to me and she was like, "We're gonna be good friends." Like, okay. But yeah.
No, I totally don't do that. I don't just walk up people. I'm like, "Hi, you're my best friend now."
She literally did. But it was very silly and funny. And I think she complimented my hair and I was like, "Oh my God, I like you." And then anyways, worst year of my life, right? Blah, blah, blah. Her intuition's crazy. We're heading back to her car. All right. We're about to like head back to her place because I was sleeping over. And I was thinking this, but I didn't say it. And she went, "Do you want to go to a psychic?" I went, "Whoa, that is crazy." Because I have never been to a psychic. And I wasn't going to say it because what the heck? That's silly and crazy. And I wasn't going to say that. But since she said it and the offer was on the table, I was like, okay. And we saw a little psychic place right there, right where her car was parked up above the building. And we checked and that place was closed. Well, everything was pretty much closed because what, Sarah, it was like
It was really late.
7? Was it 7 or 8? Was it
I
later?
feel like it had to be later.
Oh yeah, it was kind of close to midnight, right? Because that's why we did what we did.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we had a little bit of a drive back to her place. And I don't know, since she mentioned that, I was kind of set on that. I was like, we're going to a psychic today. We're going to do it today. We debated it for a sec. We were like, should we just wait and do it tomorrow? And I was like, no. We should do
We
it
both
today.
got very hyperfixated.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, Sarah's like, if you can search one and we'll see how far it is. And so we were searching, there was one open. And we call it, and this lovely lady picks up and she's like, "Hello." And we're like, "Okay, are you open?" And they're like, "Yeah, I do phone readings." We're like, "Phone readings? Hold up."
Now, listen, me as a skeptic already, I was like, oh, hell no. This is so fake. What are we talking about? How the heck can you read my energy over the phone?
Yeah, which also, by the way, is very silly. Sarah's a skeptic. All right. She'll be like, "Okay, cool. Like, you do you, Angelina."
I'm a very supportive skeptic.
I am in la la woo woo land up in the clouds with the fairies.
You said it, not me.
So, anyways, when I heard the phone call thing, we said, "Okay, we'll call you back." And she was like, "Okay." And you know, most people would usually not call back. But we discussed it. We sat there for a sec and Sarah verbalized what she was thinking. She was like, "I don't know." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wanted the vibe of going in person and and then I kind of let it sit for a second. I was like, actually, that's kind of interesting because if we did go in person and they were not a real psychic, they could just read us by our expressions or our mannerism or just stereotype us, right? So I don't know. Somehow I got you on board and you're like, "You know what? Okay, I'll try it." Like, what was
You got me on board. It was a day of trying to make Angelina happy. So I was like, let's bring her to the arcade. Let's butter her up. And I was like, what else does Angelina like? Psychics. And so this is where it came from. And I was like, okay, I'll do this to make her happy.
And it was a very memorable night. So, okay. Yeah. Chaos going on in my life. Just know that there is so much chaos. Anyways, we are sitting in her car. We're about to dial back to this random psychic lady named Peaches.
Shout out Lunar Faire. Shout out Peaches.
And anyways, we're like, okay, yeah, hi, we're gonna actually go through with this. And she's like, she has the kid in the background, they're crying. She's like, oh, little psychic. And we're like, oh, that's silly. Anyway, she's like, yeah, so blah, blah, blah. I do tarot card readings, I do life readings. The other one, I forget what the other one was. It was some, I don't know. There were 3 options. And so yeah, Sarah was like, I'll do the tarot card reading. And I was like, you know what? This is my first time. I don't know when I'm gonna come back to one. I'll do a life reading because why the heck not? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm going to jump in and say that one of the things that she said from the beginning is that she doesn't charge by the minute or by the question. She's just like, here's what your energy is putting off, and I will give whatever you give back out. And so that was one of the reasons I was accepting it.
and she also said, I don't sugarcoat it. What comes out is what comes out. I could clarify it, but yeah, it's whatever you're giving me right now, you know? Yeah. Basically, we're preparing ourselves. I'm getting ready to record each of ours on my phone because we called in Sarah's. And my phone fucking died all through Sarah's, like, which is insane. So I had to plug it into her car, and I was like, no. And it didn't turn back on until Sarah's was over. And I was like, fuck. And it was probably 30 minutes for Sarah's, 30, 40-ish minutes. Each of ours were fairly long.
Yeah, it was like a decent amount of time. And it was like her phone was freaking out for a while. Then it died. Then it wouldn't turn back on. And then she tried to turn it back on, and the recording wouldn't work. And then here I am also trying to write stuff down at the same time.
Do you want to share some of what came up, Sarah, for yours?
Or yeah, I'm actually looking to see if I have the notes somewhere in here.
While Sarah's looking for the notes, we're going to get into how the other psychic things happen and went through. But I just got to say, one thing that is super big about going to a psychic, like, yeah, you can go do that for fun. But okay, a psychic and a psychic medium are 2 different things. A psychic can work with energy or intuition, and a psychic medium is the one that talks to ghosts. They could be either or both. It's a little complicated there, but there is a difference. So yeah. Peaches, me and Sarah have had a lot of conversations. We kind of agree on our stance. You guys tell us what you think. Sarah, do you have those notes?
I do. And for the record, this was at 11:27 p.m.
I love that you I have the video of mine, but I don't have the time because
Yeah, I have the time saved on the notes app.
okay.
So the first thing that I have on this is that she said straight up, she was like, I am feeling you have a crazy intuition and that you need to trust your gut more.
Which
And I was like, okay, that's a pretty crazy thing to say, but also being skeptical right now. And I'm like, great guess.
that was the first thing this woman said to Sarah. Okay, we also jumped over when you jump on the call. She just asks your name, your birthday. That's it. And then like right away on the spot, like she doesn't have time to go like search us up. It's just
not even like full name. So she's not like doing a background check or nothing.
She's like, okay, close your eyes. I want you to focus on your questions. Don't tell me your questions. I want you to think of whatever, like a handful, 3 questions that you want, blah, blah, blah. Focus on it. Close your eyes. When you feel ready, tell me you're ready, and I will just go. And Sarah did that. And the first thing out of this woman's mouth was, you have crazy intuition. You're not psychic, but you're super intuitive.
Yeah. And so I just sort of like glance over at Angelina. I'm like, what did I get myself into? So moving down my notes, I have the next thing. Like this is very much just bullet pointed. So I have moving written down there. She mentioned, she was like, I feel like you're in 2 places at once right now. You're not exactly where you should be. And this was right before I moved my apartment and I was actively looking for a new place and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And so at this point I was like, okay, another good guess. That's kind of weird. Like, I guess I'll like give this girl a shot. And then she starts going into like more of my life. She's like, I'm feeling you have a sibling who's in not a great relationship right now. That's gonna be relying on you for help, but don't worry, they're going to get through it. It's just going to be really hard. And at the time, I wasn't quite sure what this meant because I only have one sibling. I have a sister, and she was in a very happy relationship. And in fact, the next year she got married to that guy. And I did some more thinking across the way, and
Sarah glanced at me, by the way, when she said this too. She was like, huh? She gave me that look, and I was just, I just shrugged. I don't know.
I gave her I told you it's fake. Look.
Yeah, but I was just like, just go with it. Let's hear her out.
Yeah, and I'm glad I went with it because after thinking about it more, taking a step back, I was like, okay, there is someone in my life that I consider a sibling who is going through a very unhealthy relationship right now, and I was helping them through it, and I was like, okay.
This is weird.
Like, I could make a connection for that for a lot of people, though, so who knows?
I'm getting shivers just rethinking of this night because this is like, we've talked about this, but this is making me relive it. It was so.
Yeah, I haven't gone through these in depth in a while.
By the way, guys, wait, real quick, before Sarah keeps going, this was over a span of months of these things actually like piecing together, like strangely, like weirdly to what she said, to like moments of Sarah calling me and being like, hey, I know what she said in the reading, but this is scary. And it's whoa.
And the next thing is what it is. Because I remember calling Angelina up randomly and being like, shit. I was like, shit, this is what this is. She said that I'm going to be in a desk job and it's going to be the right path for me and it's going to be really successful for my career and I'm not going to want it, but it's the right choice. And I remember being like, yeah, okay. I work in TV and film and live events right now.
You left this out, Sarah. She also told you that you're running around stressed.
I forgot that. I didn't leave it out on purpose.
She said it is crazy and you're overworking yourself and you're not paying attention to what your body needs, but that you're going to get a job opportunity. It's going to be a desk job and you're going to be able to have this calmness. And you were like, uh-huh. She also mentioned travel. And we were like, huh? By the way, Sarah was on there full time. She was on Law and Order. I was day playing around, which, by the way, this was not just a guess from Miss Peaches. This was actually insane because just jumping back to her saying you're in an in-between state, Sarah moved. So she was in New Jersey. She moved to New York. I was in New York and I moved to New Jersey, which I just think is flip-flopped, which is so crazy to me. And I didn't think that was going to happen personally. And Sarah was in between. It is actually insane.
I was in such an in-between state of my life. I had just graduated college. I was finding new friends. I was getting over friend relationships I had been at college with that weren't serving me anymore. I was trying to find the right path in my job, just a whole lot of stuff. And I guess that brings us to the job offer that I got a couple months later, which was a full-time production coordinator job that I still currently have almost 2 years later, that has a lot of travel in it and a lot of sitting at a desk. And when I took this job, I didn't think of it as a desk job, so I didn't think anything into it too much because it's a lot of pre-production work. So I'm still doing live events and I'm working on site. But there are months of prep work that I'm putting into that I'm sitting behind a computer and looking at spreadsheets and budgets and emails. And I remember walking to work one day and just looking down and I'm like, fuck. And I was like, I need to call Angelina. And I called her at like 7 a.m. And I was like, Angelina? I was like, hello? I think this is the thing Peaches was talking about. And she just starts cracking up and she's like, I was waiting for you to put it together.
Same. Yeah, because I remember I was at work or something on the side just chilling. And I remember you calling me and I was by a staircase. I think I was in Soho or something. And I remember laughing and I was like, aha, I was waiting. I knew it. I knew it. And then it was amazing and good. And she also said you were going to make more money from it and you're going to just be in a better place, which insane, crazy. I don't remember the time stamp she gave you, but I remember her saying fairly soon or something like that.
Yeah. Like pretty soon.
Yeah, insane.
The next thing I have on this list has 3 question marks next to it, and we will not be finding out if this is true or not for a very long time because the
Oh
next
my
thing
God, I
says 3
remember.
kids.
But it could be
I said,
animals.
hell no.
See, you look at all of like the kid, like
So that's Angelina's theory, is it's pets are considered too, which I believe. But that being said, I'm like, I'm gonna have more than 3 pets. So we'll see. The next thing on this list, she starts talking about like relationships and stuff. I'm putting some things together.
what do you mean? You just realized
Ugh.
something?
Yeah, let me cook real quick.
I think I know what you're gonna say, and I think I'm gonna scream because I never asked clarification on the names again. So honestly, yeah.
Well, the last 2 names on the list are 2 of the people that I was last talking to.
That's a really
So
fun.
I'm not in a relationship. I haven't been in a relationship, but the names she gave me were like the most vague, basic men names. So I was like, okay, I don't know. There's 5 names here. I don't know about the first 3. Maybe they haven't happened yet. But the last 2 are in fact the 2 people that I was talking to. Like, it never became anything. But we never went on a date or anything, but it was the 2 people that I was deeply considering meeting up and talking to slightly more seriously. And it says that I'm going to meet someone that I like, but it might be a little religious thing, and I'm super protective, and someone's going to judge me about it. And one of the last reasons I pushed someone away was because we were both Jewish, but we had different views on a certain world event that is actively happening. Because I am very liberal with my beliefs, and I feel very strongly that anti-Zionism does not equal anti-Semitism, to get a little political here. And the person I saw, I was like, oh, yikes, like, they're not posting the things that I align with, and I don't feel good about that. And I very quickly shut them down, no matter how much I like them.
Oof. And I remember her saying when that happens to like
I was on the phone with you and I was definitely looking for a reason to self-sabotage, and then I found too good of a reason.
yeah, but I remember her saying not to do that because that has been like something ongoing or something like that. I forget, but I remember her being like, try to look past that because you're trying to close yourself off.
Yeah, I definitely closed myself off on that.
I kind of faintly remember that. I wish I recorded it, but I think she said it's not what you think it's gonna be or something like that. I don't know, but
Yeah, we'll see. It's still a current event. Definitely unfollow this person on Instagram, so we'll see. But the person before, I will say, and I think I told Angelina about this, I wanted it to work so badly because it was the name on this list. And I was kind of like I knew it wasn't right. But I was like, maybe. I was like, he just did say this name. Yeah, but it was silly. The last, I have 2 more things on this list before we switch to Angelina's story. I have a random sentence that she just put out there. She was like, people will come to you all the time because you're real and you're honest. And I was like, okay. And then I look at Angelina, who had actively called me in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. one day, being like, I need to come to you for advice because you're real and honest.
It's like not the words that I said, but
I think it was exactly that word for word.
Oh no.
But a very similar situation. It was like, you're like, yeah, okay, like that's pretty nail on the head. Because I am someone that I'm like, if you're in the wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. If I think that you're being naive or too judgmental, I'm going to tell you. It's just, I'll be like, sorry. And I'll often say, I'll be like, do you want my opinion? Do you want my advice? Do you want me to just be supportive? I won't give it if you don't want it, but like, if you want it, I'm going to give you the real drama. And then the last thing she said, she was like, is there anything else you wanted to ask about? And I was like, anything else about my family? So I'm very close with my family. And she's like, okay, let me think. And she goes, oh, your mom's going to be okay. I was like, what? She was like, someone died recently and she has not gotten over it. and she's still very much in the grieving process, but she's going to be okay soon. And I at first was like,
Huh?
huh? No one died. I was like,
I remember your face when you looked at me.
I know. Listen, as a skeptic, always my first reaction is going to be, huh? Like, womp womp, she got it wrong. But as we're like going back, I start thinking, I'm like, oh, a month or two ago, I recently lost one of my family pets. And that was my mother's baby. Like, I'm a mother's baby. That was my mother's baby. And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, what do you think of psychics? Just curious. And she was like, oh, I believe in them. Like, yeah, I think so. I was like, a psychic said this about you. And I didn't tell her what it was. And she just started crying. And she knew exactly what it was. She knew it was about my dog.
Yeah,
Immediately.
I remember when those. And what
So
did you take from that?
I took from that was a really difficult pill for me to swallow personally, because I didn't want to believe, but I did want to believe. But also I'm like,
But why don't you? Wait, can I just okay, most people that probably will listen to this, I would say you're interested in spirituality, dreams,
sure.
and like
Mm-hmm.
it's strange. But there has to be a few of you out there that are like, I'm kind of teeter-tottering, kind of like how David is, maybe even like how Sarah is, and I just don't know. Why? What's so scary about if she got it right?
I think there's so many factors to that answer. I think that one, there's just so much you don't know in the world, and even just coming from a scientific point, and how vast the universe is, and how quickly we're learning and disproving things and learning new things and disproving other things. I think it's just hard to come to an answer and being like, oh, there's this spiritual connection, energy, things that we don't have proof or knowledge about yet. And that sort of comes from my take on religion too. Like, yes, I was raised Jewish, but I say I'm Jewish culturally rather than religiously. And I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, it's really hard and exhausting to try to wrap your brain around things that you don't understand, and then to just be like, it's okay that I don't understand things. It's just the world is it's a hard thing to process.
I think that's silly. I guess I like being bombarded with all of these thoughts because I'm like, wow, there's so much thing. There's so many we don't know, so we have to find out. And even if we can't find out, like, there's so many things I could think of. All of these things, all of the possibilities, like 10,000 things I could think of. Why choose just one? It's like I find that so fun instead of exhausting.
And I love that. And I think it's amazing for you. It's spiraling and existential for me.
I I like spiraling. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. I don't like spiraling like upside down. I like spiraling up. Okay. Anything else to Peaches, or should I go to mine?
That is my everything for Peaches. I love Peaches. I think about her all the time. And I always think, I'm like, sometimes I like send energy her way, and I'm just like, Peaches, if you can hear me, call me back. She hasn't yet though, but one day she will.
I have so much to say about this because all right. I'm gonna just be transparent because you know what? I feel like me just saying, yeah, I was going through a lot is I mean, you can just this is my podcast and I don't really mind. I am an open box. So let's see. I wanted to eventually talk about this too, and I just didn't know how. So here we kind of go. David and I have been through a lot. We've been together for 6, almost 7 years. We were friends. We met out in California. I came out to New York. We were long distance. Then we moved in together after a year. And we were still young and all of these things. And I gotta just say, at the time, honestly, I wasn't the easiest person. I like my rules. I like to have a schedule and stuff. David is very, very chill, very relaxed. He likes to stay home. He's very introverted. I I don't know. There's a lot going on. And we were also working so much because we were also working in film. I got him started in film, probably one of the worst decisions. But yeah, we were working all the time, trying to make the money. Film days were like 12 plus hours, craziness. I wasn't handling my stress right. He wasn't handling his stress right. He was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. And I was just being so not nice. And, anyways, we took a little break and it was extremely devastating. And my whole world spiraled. And Sarah got to see that spiral happen. So he left the apartment. He went to where he went. This was like a crazy, crazy couple months. I think it was only for 2 or 3 months. It wasn't long. Clearly, we got back together. Everything was great after that. In the end, I think that break was meant to happen. But I'm not going to lie. At the beginning, when Sarah saw me, I wouldn't have said the same thing. And Sarah's like the really nice, like honest friend saying, listen, girl, we don't know what's going to happen. I don't want your head in the clouds. And I'm like, no, I want my head in the clouds. And she's like, no, I don't want you to get hurt. So we go to the psychic, right? That's why Sarah's here trying to make me feel better because everything was shattering. And we call Peaches, blah, blah, blah. Sarah gets hers done. I get to record mine. I don't have notes. I have the recording, but I'm going to just like go off what I remember. So I did the life reading. Honestly, there was like stuff that happens later on in my life, which I have not occurred yet, right? But it wasn't so different than the tarot card reading. I'm not going to lie. Like the time, because it's based on energy, our timestamps were pretty close. I would say we had like
talk to you a lot longer, but it could have just been my perception of time being the person in the hot seat at the time.
You said mine was longer?
I felt like yours was much longer.
Maybe it was. I mean, I have the recording, but yours felt long too. So I don't know. I feel like you'll get a lot of information, valuable information too. Yours was like more within the year, right? And mine, or like year and a half. Mine was really close to now and then spread out to later. Also, guys, that you're listening, psychics aren't telling you this is exactly going to happen this way. My family has gone to psychics before. And the thing is, if you know about things ahead of time, you can change it. You could take a different path. Things don't have to happen like that. But this is what they're getting on the path that you're on currently. So she reads mine, do the meditation. I'm like, okay, I'm ready, Peaches. She's like, okay, brilliant. She said, I'm getting brighter. I was like, whoa, insane, crazy, because matter of fact, I am and always will be a writer. That is what I love. But she also said, I don't know why I'm getting doctor, which Sarah at the moment didn't know about that because there's no reason to bring that up. She was like, I get right. It's like you have two sides. And she's like, I don't know, but I don't see you ever working in an office or having a uniform and a skirt. That's not you. She's like, you're too colorful. That's not for you.
Can I just say, Peaches has never seen her.
Yeah,
like, she has never seen Angelina. She had no idea she had fluorescent pink hair at the time and wearing a bright ass outfit. Like this was over the phone.
Yeah, which I mean, you guys could see from the little Journey Through the Dreamscape picture. But if you looked on my Instagram, which you should, and you should stay updated. But I have crazy hair. I like my pattern. I like to experiment. And yeah, she said that. And I knew instantly what the doctor thing was. But Sarah kind of looked at me like, huh? Because like, doctor, what? It's funny because growing up, my mom wanted me to be a doctor, which I went with that for a bit, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to do that because of my family. And then I realized this is never me. I don't want to be a doctor. If I want to help people, it's not going to be like a doctor's son. What I've always liked writing. And then I kind of just went on my own path. So that was very funny. And she also said she didn't see that for me, but thought it was interesting that came up. Really funny that came up after all of these years. She goes, I see you doing a lot of different jobs. She said, and not because you're not good at anything, but it's because you have all these skills and you like to learn all these things. And she's like, and in the end, like you're learning all these things to apply it to something big. She's like, so career, super good, brilliant. Your writing, amazing. It's going to do good. And I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope so. I remember her also saying that I should start, which is actually insane because we're on this podcast right now. She said, I kind of see you doing something where you're opening up to people and you're like using your voice, you're on social media or posting. She said, not pictures, but you're saying things to people and teaching them stuff that will help them. And I was like, okay. Because I had my website and I was so excited about that. I think I had just started it around that time. And I was so happy about that. And that was the one thing I was holding on to then, which she did not know. But I had plans for it and I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with it to keep going. So I had my writing on there, right? Well, yeah, I was like, huh? And she told me about someone on Instagram that was similar. She's like, do you know this person? And I was like, no. She's like, okay, well, I see you being motivational like that. And I was like, okay. And just threw that in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, well, here I am doing the podcast, which I think is very silly because that's not why I did it. This was a while after, and I kind of connected it because, yeah, I didn't think I would be doing a podcast. But she said, when you do this thing, keep doing it and don't stop. Thank you, Peaches, for your wise words. She also said my mom was gonna call me in a couple days telling me a message about someone having a baby or getting married, which I was like, what? And she's like, I feel like it's your mom. She's like, I'm pretty sure it is your mom. And I was like, I don't know who my mom would be calling me to tell me someone's having a baby or something. My cousin's not gonna have a baby. Like, what? Flash forward 2 days later, I had a voicemail from my mom. She said that a friend who was close to us growing up, they are having a kid. They just posted about having a kid. I called my mom back. I was like, why did you tell me about this? This is so random. She was like, because I saw it. And I was like, okay, but this is weird. So out of the blue, so random. I don't even know why my mom told me this person had a kid. And what else? She said, okay, work-wise, super good. Career is going to be really good. In your home, there's craziness going on and my heart sank. I looked at Sarah and I was like, oh no.
I could see the tear form in her eye.
Yeah. She said she's like, nobody hates each other. But this is literally her words. Nobody hates each other, but nobody gets along with each other anymore. It's like weird. And I was like, oh no, I know exactly what this is. So she had to like do some like digging, figure out this stuff and read into like David's side. She was like, no, this is a lot of confusion. This is what they're going through, which is exactly what they were going through. She said exactly what he was going through. Insane. She doesn't even know him. He's not even on the call. She
You
said,
haven't even said his name.
huh?
I don't even think you said his name at this point.
And she said that I'm gonna hear from him. She said, do you guys talk? And I said, barely. Because David and I still stayed friends afterward. At first, the first week, we were like dead silent. But afterwards, we kept talking. It was super weird. Well, she said, okay, well, you're gonna hear from him tomorrow, actually. And Sarah like looks at me. She's like, I don't want your head full of lies. And
I was so worried to get her hopes up because she was like, really? And I was like, oh, no, no, no. I don't want to have to be the one to hug you when there's no call tomorrow.
also, I had just talked to David that day and I remember it was not so good. It was about some bullshit. I forget. Some shit that we had to talk about. And it did not go good. It didn't go how either of us wanted it to go. So I was like, I'm gonna hear from him tomorrow. No way. Not after the talk today. But I was also like, maybe I will. So like, yeah, Sarah's here concerned. And this lady's like, no, you guys are meant to be together. She's like, there's not one doubt in my mind. And Sarah's like, and she's like, there's no doubt. You guys already lived under one house. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that was the one response I gave her. And she was like, yeah, I see that. I see he is far right now. He doesn't really know what's going on, but it's going to be okay. Is it going to be as soon as you want? No, not at all. It's gonna be a little bit, but you will hear from him and you guys are meant to be together. You guys are gonna be back together. She said, it's it's going to come around. But this is literally craziness. You are in a spiral of thoughts, not from this, but before this. And you were never like this, which was insane. Actually made me like cry because that was literally how it felt. And she was like, yeah, you just were not being yourself. And you didn't even know why, which was so true. And no one knew that. But she said that it was going to get better and that that's what this was for. And it was, honestly. Looking back, by the way, she said he was not going to come back as soon as I wanted, but he was. She was so right. He came back. Well, we got back together 2 months in. We were talking every day. After a couple weeks, we were talking and then we were FaceTiming. And then it was weird because we were just being super close, best friends. Like, oh, we'll be there. And then stuff kind of just fell together. And yeah, we just moved back together and that was that. We were like, okay, we're going to talk about everything. And, people make mistakes. There we go. And Sarah was like, thank goodness, because I did not want you to get crushed.
I was being very protective in a way that I was like, I need you to assume the worst. So if the best happens, amazing, awesome, super great surprise. But if like
you
this
literally
bad
said
situation
that.
doesn't happen, yeah, I know, because this is how I live my life for myself as well. And if the worst situation doesn't happen, does happen, you're prepared and you know how to handle this.
She told me I was gonna get the assistant opportunity. She said to take it. That did happen. I didn't take it for a matter of reasons. One, see, this is like an example of changing something. She said when it was going to happen, she told me the month. I remember her saying end of August or something, I was going to get this opportunity. I did turn it down. And my reason is because, guys, trust your gut. I know what I want to do and I know what I am capable of doing. And that's not putting a limit. I know how much I want to work on something. Even if I'm making more money, spending more time working, I'm probably going to be unhappy if I'm working a lot of time. But even if I'm making less money and I'm working less, I have more time to write and do these things I love. So that was kind of the conflict I had when this opportunity happened. I was like, I'm going to have to pass this one up, even though she said to take it, because I don't want my life to go down this route of being on set 24/7. That can't be my life, or else I won't be happy. I'm going to not get out of this spiral that I know is because I'm overworking myself. That's why I was not taking out my emotions right. And I need to make some changes. So she got that right. I didn't take that. And she also said, let's see, she said some things that had yet to happen. There is something about something being built to me way down the road. She said she sees something getting built to me. It's going to be really good. It's going to come from someone that I know. I think she said family member or something like that. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. Don't know.
I'm just laughing because the other day when we were going to the fair, I don't know, we were just talking about life and being old and stuff. And Angelina was like, oh, well, he just said that I'm going to get this great inheritance, so I'll be rich. And we still just joke about that and just stuff of I'll be waiting.
But it's really funny. You know what David was telling me the other day? David said that his goal, because he started coding and stuff, right? And he wants a remote job. Like I said, he doesn't like going out. He's so introverted. He does not like setting foot outside unless he absolutely has to, or I pull him out there. And yeah, he wants to code. He said his goal is, he doesn't know if he's going to do for website or for games, but he is learning his stuff. He's going to learn Python. He's going to pick which route, and that's that. And he has his goals for that. He told me his ideal thing, which I'm so down for. He said, I want to make enough money, decent money, and you know what? If I did, I don't care. You can quit and just do your writing. He was like, I really don't care. I'd be happy if I'm just at home. It wouldn't even feel like work to me. I wouldn't care if you even contributed. You would just do your writing because I know you're good at that. He's like, and then I'll get you 2 birds. I was like, thank you so much.
You're like, this is the hottest thing you've ever said to me.
I was like, this is the best thing. I hope you do too. Because, yeah, for the listeners, I don't want kids. That's not on my agenda ever. He's so fine with that. So he's like, yeah, I'll get you 2 birds like you want. Like I want those 2 birds so bad. I want 2 birds. But he was just like, yeah, you could stay home. And like some people would be like, blah, 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 blah. No, that sounds amazing to me because I would get to stay here and I would get to write, which then had me thinking, okay, built to me. What if David what if David built something for me? What if he built me like a house or something? I don't know. But
And
I
you're like, he's gonna build me a statue.
I thought about that. David actually said that as a joke
That's what he's
before
that's
he
what
did that. He said, "I'm gonna build you a statue of yourself." He said, "Why not?" He said he calls me monkey, so he's like, "For the monks." And I was like, "You're so silly."
I know.
Yeah. She got that right. The biggest thing was David. And she absolutely got that right. She said everything he was going through, which he actually did, by the way, call me the next day. Like we had a talk and his emotions changed. He was like, I'm so sorry about this, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. You don't understand. Sad boy hours. Like, okay. This guy cannot survive without me. Like I just gotta say, he was living off of cereal and energy drinks. I'm not even exaggerating that. And bad back problems. But anyways,
Not the back problems.
and crying. Okay. I'm just
Strays.
throwing him under the
You're
bus.
just
But it's so
throwing
true.
strays at him over right now.
Huh?
He's not even here to defend himself.
He's sitting in the room right by me. He's playing his game. If he really needed to, he could pull it off and say something. But we don't need him to defend himself right now. That's just true. Yeah, no, she was like, he really loves you, blah, 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 blah. His words and his actions aren't matching, da 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 da. Was absolutely right. He actually told me all of these words that came out of her mouth. I was so scared that I actually had to go back to her because I decided, you know what? I need to fix myself. And the first thing is I need to invest in myself. I was making so many bad decisions during that time period that honestly, this was one good decision I made, and I wouldn't have taken it back for anything. So this actually started me on this journey of like meditating still to this day. It added like a little bit more to my life. I talked to her for a week. I did this little healing work stuff, but it was very weird because she knew things about my family that you can't just search up or know. You would not find this online. This is stuff that is pretty ancient and weird. And she knew stuff about David's and explained it and very weird. It was just such weird like phenomenon happening while I was meditating. But all I gotta say, Peaches is legit. I'm not gonna go into that one in too much detail. If you guys want to know, maybe I'll make an episode about that one in the future. But we're gonna get on to the next psychics because Sarah and I, after we went to Peaches, the day after, when none of this stuff has come true yet. And we're just like, okay, last night, maybe it wasn't real, you know? Maybe we're just so excited. Sarah was teeter-tottering because she's like, what the heck? I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe lucky guesses. I don't know. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe we should go to another one just to make sure and see how we feel about another psychic, which that day was a very silly one. Sarah, do you want to say what happened when we looked for the second one?
I mean, yeah, we were trying to look for something different. We wanted to go in person. So we went in and she was like, go one at a time. And we're like, okay, weird. So we both did a tarot card reading. I have the recording of mine too. Maybe I'll play it back and we can like cut it out and just listen to it right now.
Which is so silly, guys, because remember the Peaches one on the phone? My phone died for Sarah's and I got to record mine. This time, I gave Sarah my phone in her bag because she had a bag and I didn't have a bag. I didn't have pockets. And I was like, no, because then when I went in right
I
after,
forgot.
I couldn't just grab it. And because like I'm not gonna have this lady know I'm just gonna record because I want to listen back to this. What? But Sarah got to record the second one, which was like actually so funny looking back. Sarah went in for, I think it was $20. I remember it being $20, right, Sarah?
Yeah, it was something like, I mean, we had just gone to one yesterday. I was like, I don't want to pay too much money. I don't know if this is even real. Yeah, I got the recording. It's 15 minutes long.
Sort of, kind of. I'm just going through a lot of changes right now. Mm-hmm. I don't have any relationships with him. No. No relationship. No. Who's the man? There's no man. It's showing there's a man.
She said, "Who's the man?"
I'm crying.
I know I've been single my whole life.
Wait, can you pause real quick? Can we like speed up by
Yeah,
that?
should we? Okay.
So yeah, guys, you guys aren't gonna be able to hear this like little dialogue that the recording because
Yeah, the
one, you
recording
can't
is-
really hear it that well.
Mhm.
But Sarah went in first, like we said, and
Hey guys, future Angelina again. So this is where we're going to end this first part of her experiences. If you liked what we had to share so far, the second part will be out next week. So get ready. Hello, here we are. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode so far. And yeah, here we are, the Oracle card reading for this week and the question of the week. I think it's only fitting to use these cards that Sarah had got me before because it's just fitting. Okay, so I shuffled and the cards came out. I used 2 different decks today. We have 2 different cards. And yeah, let's start with the first one, which says Potion, Invigoration, Empowerment. The book says, the Potion card tells you that a small infusion of intention, even just a drop, can invigorate you and get you back on track if you are feeling out of control. Any act done with intention can stimulate forward momentum. Choosing to empower yourself with a small gesture of concentrated magic can refresh you enough to galvanize your motivation. This may be as simple as casting a basic spell or meditating in nature. Not every action needs to be huge, and not every change is immediate and sweeping. Don't discount the magic that a tiny gesture or moment can create. Just a small drop will do. And the other card I pulled says, you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. And the book for this one says, the world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, just won't like you. But it's also filled with those who will love you fiercely. They are your people. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince others of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. Don't try to convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds that will take precious time to heal. You're not for them, and they are not for you. Politely wave them on and continue on your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Keep facing your true north. Pulling this card means you're being called to embrace your uniqueness, to own your weirdness, to let the world see who you really are. To reveal your multifaceted, multidimensional nature, not to dim your light according to who is in your presence, to own all parts of yourself so that your people, the ones who are the same kind of weird as you, can recognize you when your paths cross. Yes, guys, like I said in the intro at the beginning about just this like weird energy and like feeling, and it's like overwhelming, kind of feels like, I don't know, like overwhelmed by feeling you're not doing enough or feeling that you need to present yourself a certain way to people. And I don't know, just like having this all on your shoulders and then projecting it out and having this like stuffiness to the room. That's just what kind of, I can't speak. But anyways, that's what it kind of feels like, is just this like uncertainty of self, this, I'm going to just say like the thoughts that I'm thinking when I felt this energy was, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing enough. Like, why is it so hard? But basically, for any of you guys that were actually feeling these feelings recently, I feel like these cards are advice for you. Empowerment, drive, inspiration, creativity is found not outside of you. It's found within, because we each have these things to share, right? We each have gifts that no one else has. Yes, people can have similar things, but they don't have your gifts. And you know what? this like overwhelming feeling is realize and take time to reflect inward, to build this empowerment, to build this excitement, to then let out this creativity. And just know you're not for everyone. Embrace who you are. And it's difficult, but don't compare yourself to others, especially their journey, because everybody has different obstacles and different things that we go through in life. Yes, some things may match up or overlap at times, but no journey is the same journey. Be proud of who you are and realize that you have your own pace, and embrace who you are. Don't hide that away. And in that, you will be empowered to be in your true self. So yes, that is the advice for this week. And now to end off, the question of the week. What are some roles that you've had to play in the past that no longer serve you, that you've still kept around? Ways of thinking that are holding you back from being yourself, being your true self, and letting your creativity and inspiration light your way. Okay, and that wraps up this week's episode. I just want to thank all of you guys again for listening, for joining me here this week. I appreciate all of you, and yes, I am so excited for the future. So see y'all next week. If you found this episode or my previous ones insightful, chances are someone else you know will think so too. It'd be incredibly helpful and lovely if you shared this with them so that they can find something that possibly resonates with them too. To hear more, please subscribe to my channel. To stay updated in between episodes or to contact me for episode ideas and feedback, please go to my website, angelinayoung.com, or follow my Instagram, which will be down below. I'm always excited and open to hearing how and what you've dreamed of. So please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you, my beautiful dreamers. This was Angelina Young on Journey Through the Dreamscape. Tune in next week. Until then, see ya.